Thank you for inviting me to do this evening's keynote address. To be honest, I struggled with whether or not to accept this invitation. Every time I've raised my head, I've just been just shot at from every direction. So far, only metaphorically, you know, which is why I'm not on social media anymore. This is my first public event in nearly 4 years. I used to do it all the time. I was the blue-eyed brown girl. Anytime that my company needed a public face, I was there. I would do it. And I loved it. Meeting people, the flirting, the cocktail circuit lifestyle. Sometimes being patronized, but most of the time being affirmed, you know. Until I started to ask questions. How? But why are we invoicing for work that we have not yet done? Is it right for us to design requests for proposals, government tenders, for work for which we have not yet done? So we are coaching the new CEO of a state-owned enterprise before the job has even been advertised. Bona, I went from being the it girl to being the out girl. I went from being the head of my unit to having to answer to someone who was my junior. And when I asked why, I was told, Okuti, I'm just not good enough. I mean, they just mess with your hair. They just get in there. And okay, so there's the man-woman thing, right? Then there's the age gap thing, question, right? And then, of course, and the only black female and the youngest woman in a mostly male-dominated environment, most of them white. Always having to prove myself. And I excelled. Which is why I got paid very big bonuses. And then after I start asking the questions why, they tell me, Hore, I was just not good enough. And you know it's not true. But you start to think, okay, maybe they have a point, right? Maybe this is the way government works, right? Maybe this is the way to just right the wrongs of apartheid, right? Maybe this is how business is done. You guys don't know how lucky you are as journalists. You have a community of people to support you. It's your job to expose wrong. You get trained for this. And you are recognized for it with awards like tonight. Being a whistleblower is not a job. Often, in fact, it means losing your job. There's no training for it, there's no manual, there's no support. They say that bad things persist when good people do nothing. I don't mean to sound like a poor me victim, but in my experience, bad things persist when good people do something. And many times it's the good people who suffer. And it is very difficult to not get angry. I've learned to channel my anger, though, through poetry. I'd like to read a poem that I've written, The Winter Will Still Endure. It's to honor some people that we have lost, some who have lost their lives for our country. Another meaningless monument rises to heroes past, who squirm their restless graves as erstwhile comrades vomit hollow words of regret for a modern martyr riddled with hired bullets. Enablers of treason, accomplices to plunder, their own hands dripping complicit blood, now vow, no stone unturned, the full might of the law, everything in their power. When history mocks their two-faced tongues, spineless men, skeleton women preside over our winter, while desperate praise singers search for swallows to beg us believe their spring. The fiction of a new dawn, a rising sun, a better life for all lies buried in faction wars of scorched earth rogues who put first the party path to elite enrichment, betraying a country, its hopes, its dreams to the voracious gods of greed. Traitors triumph, robbers swagger, killers strut with brazen impunity beyond the law, while true people's servants have track records trashed, careers curtailed, their very hearts crushed. Which road will be named for Mos Phakwe? What building for Andile Machaya? Who will build a monument for Babita Deokaran? As we weep for them, we weep for ourselves. For the winter will still endure. Would I take a public stand against corruption again? Would I tuma mina? Absolutely not. The costs are too great. We need to do so much more to support whistleblowers. But more fundamentally, we need to change a system that inculcates and rewards greed. Perhaps then the category of Investigative Journalist of the Year won't be as crowded as it is tonight. Congratulations to all the nominees. Thank you for doing your country duty.